We start with 1 hour chart. Okay, as we can see, the price drop because if you refer to our analysis when the price was here, we mentioned if anyone wants to get a trade based on from here, they have to start to manage. And as we can see, after the breakout, there was one opportunity for to look for sell. By the way, now right now the price almost tagged the lowest price, the previous low. Okay, and we want to see what's the next and how we can trade. Okay, in this case, we start with higher time frame with daily chart. Based on daily, this is what we're looking for. Whether this one can continue and drop to the tag the trend line or not, because at that time we will have a really big correction. But mostly we're expecting this one to be a correction for continuation. All right, since we see other charts that are moving. Okay, that means we are not expecting the price to move for deeper correction. Okay, by the way, right now we're looking at for based on forward chart. As we can see, based on forward chart, the price almost broke. And if we refer to the indicators, we see whether we have divergence or not. And if we put this one in relative to this, MACD almost shows a divergence, and another one as well. But it depends, because if there is a continuation maybe after a few hours, then we don't have any divergence. That's why we cannot rely on the divergence. And the thing is, we want to see how deep this one can go before we take the next trade. Okay, right now, as we can see, we have two candles with the two shadow. We want to see whether similar to what we have here, can we expect one more reversal? And in that case, we want to see how we can trade it. If we move to 1 hour chart, all right, if we want to look for buy, we need to get there, because if we put our trend line here, usually if we have a trend line, we mentioned that similar to what we have here, we're looking for the breakout of the trend line to look for buy. But how about if we get any buy set up within this range, for example with a sharp move and flag, if we get, and if the price come to the trend line, we see it is not going to break, we take out the trade. But for sure, the best things is if we get any sharp move with the breakout of the trend line, then if we take any trade with a sharp move of flag of any correction, we can take the trade with the, and when the price come to the top, we start to manage. Okay, and we should know, may this one give us one more correction here similar to what we get here for one more drop. If we get any corrective move similar to what we have here, we can look for sell one more drop, but we consider as a short term. As long as we get into the profit, we start to manage it. Okay, as I mentioned, the best things is if we get the breakout of the trend line before we look for buy, and if we get any trade set up within this range, based on even if we mostly we can trade based on lower time frame. But if the price come, we see it's not moving sharp or we couldn't break the trend line, then we shouldn't stay with the trade. But anyway, if this one give us drop some more, it can give us better trade setup rather than what we have right now. Because if there is a continuation at that time, so we don't need to look for the breakout of this trend line. Okay, and one more thing I need to highlight here is that we don't have any trade. And what I wanted to highlight is sometimes when we mention we expect, we're looking for the breakout, sorry, we're looking for the reversal with the sharp move and correction, may I can put point to this. But this one, there was, even we put our trend line here, whatever happened is below the trend line. Okay, as example, sometimes we get this kind of the moves. That's mean we get the sharp move with the correction. Even if we get here, sometimes we don't, if we get the on the break line trend line or below the trend line, also we need to consider, because this one, whatever we have here, is a sharp move with the correction. Okay, and again, if we want to look for buy, we're looking for the sharp move correction similar to what we have here as example. And if it is above the trend line, it can give us better confirmation. Okay, that's why I mentioned if this one drop a bit more, then we don't need to look for the breakout of the trend line. Okay, by the way, we don't have any trade set up in this case. We just follow the chart. If I see any update or any changes, then I will share. Thanks.